There's very complex sentencing guidelines. I have researched this as an ad nauseum. He could have done pro hac vice. He would have been a terrible pro hac vice for a murder trial, though. I mean,
can I give you a tip real quick? It's pro hoc vice. Pro hoc vice. And my law friends would kill me if I didn't bring that up. Pro hoc vice.
Pro hoc vice. Sorry.
No, you got it now.
Are you a lawyer?
No, just I do enjoy law, but I have a lot of lawyer friends. I took Latin in high school for 2 years, and so
no reason to lie. None. If he gets less than that, stated by the judge in the bond hearing, she stated the minimum was 20 years. So he would have to do. No, mandatory maximum is no. That's the maximum, but there's also mandatory minimums. So there could be a mandatory minimum for one offender of 5 years and one for 10 years. It has to do with his stipulations. His stipulations. He's going to have to face his mandatory minimum. His mandatory minimum. No, they're not. They stayed one of them. So they're only going to be sentencing him on one. Okay. Only one of the charges. I hope I'm sorry. Every single person has their own specific sentencing guidelines. Yeah, I'm quoting what the judge said at the bond hearing. She said, based upon his charges and the age of the charges and the aggravating factors around Josh's own history, he would be facing 20. Now Anna has 7 to change on a region. Okay. They did a stay on one of the charges because under the law, Dustin Roberts said that they can only actually be convicted on one of them. So the judge said that one of them was stayed. The possession charge was stayed. And the way that Dustin Roberts explained it for sentencing, he will be sentenced under a single charge of receipt. That single charge carries a maximum of 20 years. They can add an additional 5 years to that based on the age of the kids. So he could be facing up to 25 years. I got it right. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. It's hard. I'm sorry.
They don't. If the judge considers the prior acts in danger to the community, the judge could get into half, 10, which is 5 more years than the mandatory minimum. So it's like double the mandatory minimum, but it's half of the max, which would be, for federal sentencing, reasonable. Federal sentencing tends to be low, especially when they are considered non-violent crimes. But if the judge considers the prior bad acts, the judge can take that under consideration, can't add to the sentencing because of that. He doesn't have priors that he's been convicted of. But the totality of the circumstances might allow the judge to bump the sentence up into 15 years. I would be shocked if he got 15 years. I think 8 to 12 is probably where we will see this, though it depends. The judge could find more. It depends on what happens at that. You'll see him sentenced on both, most likely, but you won't see time for count 1, then time on count 2. So somebody's saying, I thought the mandatory minimum was 20 years. I don't know why you would think that. No, the maximum is 20. The mandatory minimum on these counts is 5. I've never seen a mandatory minimal sentence in any crime, including first-degree premeditated murder with special circumstances, 25 to life is the highest minimum sentence I've ever seen, and that is in first-degree premeditated murders with special circumstances, where 25 to life, and a few other crimes. But for non-violent offenses, mandatory minimums are not that high and would never be in the 20-year range and aren't on this. So whoever reported that is inaccurate and does not understand the way that this all works. So Rosalie, I'm not saying that it's you. I'm just saying wherever that is not accurate.
Without a crystal ball.